Hi friends, it's Gloria from Golden Bucket Farm. I'm the Jersey Lady 1 on YouTube. And welcome to my classroom. My craft room. Oh, I used to have a classroom. So today I'm working on a little tutorial to tell how to make treat or favor boxes. These are little cubes. And I talked about this. Okay. I talked about this in my last video where I had the advent calendar in a box and I needed to make 25 little boxes to go inside because I had a particular size. I made the big box and I had that particular size that I wanted so that I could use the 12 by 12 papers inside the lid, whoops, and also on the cover. So it worked out that my boxes were 2 1/4 inches square, but the method that I will show you today will work for any size that you want. Okay, so you don't really have to write down measurements or worry about a ruler, anything like that. Nope. I'll just show you how to lay out your pattern, and you can go from there, whatever size you want. If you want to make 2-inch ones, 2 1/2, 3-inch, whatever will work with your paper. Okay, I'm going to move this just a little bit. My tripod is over toward the edge. I want the whole thing to fall off. So, okay, you could use these little boxes for party favors, you know, or wedding favors, or, like I said, to put into an advent calendar like I did. Anyway, I made my boxes from a heavy weight cardstock. Okay, I got mine as Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby, and I used pattern paper on mine. This is kind of my beat up sample here, or model, but I used pattern paper on mine, but you can use paint, or you could stamp on yours, whatever you want to decorate your boxes. And I did on this one punched a little place so that it could open, and if you look closely, I punched too deep, so I had to glue part of it back in there. This was my very first one, you know. After I made 25, I got pretty good at it. So, alright, so all you have to do when you want to start laying out your cube is get a piece of paper, okay, and something to write with, and decide how big you want your boxes to be. So I wanted mine to be 2 1/4 inch square. So you're going to get a piece of paper, and in the middle of your paper you're going to draw a square, and you don't have to be very good at it. Okay, doesn't really matter because this is just a plan. Okay. The one thing that you need to think about is you want to start with the back of your box, and that's what we drew here. So I'm going to write in here back, and this is 2 1/4. Okay, but whatever yours is, that's fine. You know, whatever you decide to make yours. Okay, so some people can hold the idea of a cube, a 3D item or object in their head. I can do that and turn it around in my head. My mom, for all the talents that she has, that's not something she can do. So I recognize if that's not something you can do, find yourself some kind of a box, a cereal box, a tissue box, a cornstarch box, you know, whatever, a box that macaroni came in or something. Anything that has, like this, has 6 faces, the top and the bottom and 2 sides, and the front and the back, okay. So that when you start to draw out your plan, you can think, okay, I'm going to start with the back, which we did, and then what attaches to the back? Well, here we are. 2 more squares, right? 1 square folds over to make the top, and 1 square folds over to make the bottom. So draw 2 more squares. Okay. And this is going to be the top, and this is 2 1/4, and this is going to be the bottom, and this is 2 1/4. Okay. And then what do you need? Well, here's your back. You have your top and your bottom, and on either side you have a side. So we're going to draw 2 more squares here, 1 on either side. There's 1. This is side, and that's 2 1/4. And you're going to draw another side. 2 1/4. Okay. So now what else do we need? We've got the back, and we have the top, okay, and we have the bottom, and we have the side, and then you need a front. And the front can go on either side here, but I put mine over here on the left. Okay, so this is the front, and this is 2 1/4. Okay, and then you need some way to hook the front to the side when you fold this all together, because, you know, so it goes around, front, side, back, side, front. So make yourself a little glue, and I put the glue over here, a little glue strip. Okay, so this is glue, and that's a 1/2 inch. Okay, then so that the top stays down and the bottom stays up, you need a little tabby. So that hooks on to the top, and also one to the bottom. So on the top of your top square up here, draw a little tab, and that's a 1/2 inch. And down here on the bottom of your bottom square, that's a tab, and that's a 1/2 inch. Okay. Now, in order to keep things from falling out of my boxes, I made some flaps to fold over like that before I put the top down. Okay. And those hook onto the sides. And there's 2 on the top, and there's 2 on the bottom. There's your bottom flaps. Okay. Like that. So that means that we need to take another square up here and one over here. Okay, that's a flap, and those are 2 1/4 too. Okay, and over here, okay, flap, 2 1/4, and down here, flap, 2 1/4. Okay, so now you have everything, all the parts that you need: top, bottom, front, back, side, the 4 flaps, the 2 tabs, and the glue strip. So now you have to figure out, okay, so there you are. Okay. That's the little plan that I made, and it's not to scale. Nope, didn't need to use my ruler. Nope. Okay, it's just for me to be able to see now what I'm going to, what do I need to make this box. All right, now you have to add up your measurements so that you can know what size to cut your box. And so we needed 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/4, and a half. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. That's 9 and a half. So let me turn this here. This is 9 and a half inches wide. Okay, is the paper that we're going to cut. And then here we had 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/4, half and half. So 2, 4, 6, and a half makes one more 7, and 1, 2, 3 quarters. So this way is 7 3/4. So that's your plan, and that's the size that you're going to cut your paper. And so I did. So I'm just going to lay my plan over here and get out my scoreboard. Okie dokie. So if you don't have a scoreboard or a score pal, and I didn't for a long time, and I made a lot of boxes without them, in that case you need to make some little marks on the sides of your first box that you're making, to use that as a template, and then just use like a used up ballpoint pen, or the back side of a table knife, or I've used a smaller size crochet hook, you know, anything that you can go along a straight edge and do your scoring. But the scoreboard really does make it easier, especially if, you know, but once you get one done, then you can just use that one as a pattern, cut a pattern for yourself. And you know, if you're making 50 for a party or 250 for a wedding or something, that'll make it go quicker, you know, if you have that template. But this is so easy. When I did mine, I just cut my 25 pieces, and here's my piece cut 9 1/2 by 7 3/4, and then I looked at my plan and I said, okay, the long side is going at the top of my scoreboard, and my first one is at 2 1/4, and I'm not going to take time to do all this, but 2 1/4, and then you have to think, okay, so now the next one is going to be 2 1/4 again, so that's 2 and 2 and 1/4 and 1/4, so it'd be 4 1/2. Just add up your fractions, you know, as you go across, so that you can tell where to draw. The next one, 2, 4, 6 and 3/4, 6 and 3/4 would be this one, and then 2 1/4 more than that would be 9, and that leaves your little half strip over here on the side. And then you turn your paper to the short side, and you can turn your plan to the side, and you can see that your first score is going to be to make this half. So score down your 1/2 inch, and then you're going to need 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/4. So the first one would be 2 3/4, and the next one would be 5, and then 7 1/4, and that leaves a half for your little tab here. Okay. So when you get that done, then you have to think, okay, I've got my score. I have to cut off the parts that I don't need. So what are you not going to need when you have your card, your cardstock all scored. Well, you only need the little tab here on this in this center row, so you can cut off the 1/2 inch to this side and all the way across the 1/2 inch to this. Just leave this little one here. This is the front, and this is the flap. So this part here, you're not gonna need that. Maybe I should mark that. Okay, so you're gonna get rid of the halves there, and you don't need these 2 squares. Okay. Then you don't need the 1/2 all along here. It's going to be going all along the bottom here. You don't need this one. And up on this side, you don't need either one of these. Okay. So your plan will tell you, what to cut off. So when you're done with that, here's what you come up with. Okay, well, it's turned around so it's this way, and I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, so here you are now. When you're done and you cut off the extra 1/2 inch here, and this square that was here, the square that was here, the extra 1/2 inch here, the extra 1/2 inch here, and here, and here. And then on these flaps, I cut up to the first score line here. Well, actually, yeah, because you have this cut off, cut up to your first score line. And then I just took another cut, an angle cut, so that these flaps are tapered. Okay. All 4 of those. Now this is your glue strip over here, and these are your tabs. And to make my tabs easier to go into the box, I rounded those with my little corner chopper. So, if you don't have one of those, you can just round it with your scissors. Okay. Okay. Like that. Okay. And then you can just fold on your score line all around. And you're done. Okay. Here. Okay. Let's see, what do we have? One more here. Here. And here. And I want this this one side to hook to the front. That's your little glue strip. So I just have some double-sided tape here that I'll put on there. Okay. Be careful here. All right. And just fold that up. Press it firm. Okay, and there we are. Fold down your flaps. Put in your tab. Fold in your bottom flaps. Push in your tab. And voila! There you go. Any size that you need. If you're going to make really big ones and cut them out of like a piece of tag board or poster board, well then you'd want to make your glue strip wider and your little tuck-in tab wider. But once you have the idea, once you have your plan drawn out, you can plug in any number that you want for your sizes, because a cube, has 6 faces, and each one is a square, and so it's going to be, 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 or whatever. And so you don't need to really write down any measurements or anything. Just remember to start with your back, and then, if you have to, get some kind of a box out and think, okay, the top connects to the back, and the bottom connects to the back, and the sides connect to the sides of the back. You know, just kind of look at it and see, okay, that's where my pieces are going to be. Draw it out and figure out how big you need to make your piece of material that you're working with. And you could even use double-sided cardstock, and you wouldn't have to decorate them at all. You'd be just done, you know. Just then you wouldn't have to be cutting like I did. Had to cut the little squares and put those on. So thank you for watching. I hope that this little tutorial is helpful to you, and happy crafting, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.